All right, let's get right into it. Something huge is happening, but it's happening quietly. We're talking about a massive shift in the world of high-end consulting, the big advisory firms. And it's a revolution that's not happening in the boardroom, but in the software that we're all starting to use. And it's all because of AI.
If you talk to a partner at one of these elite firms, you'll hear this all the time. It's their classic defense. They'll say, hey, we sell judgment, not just grunt work. They really believe that what they do, that high-level strategic human insight, is totally safe, that it's immune to automation. They're the artists, not the data assemblers.
But what if they're wrong? What if that confidence, that feeling of being untouchable, is actually built on a hidden secret? A vulnerability that AI is about to blow wide open for the whole world, and more importantly, for their clients, to see.
So let's dig in. To really get this, we've got to peel back the curtain and see what these firms have really been billing for all this time. We need to look at this invisible foundation. Think about it. That brilliant piece of advice a partner gives at the end of a project, well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. What's underneath, what you never see, is this huge hidden layer of work. We're talking about mountains of documents, contracts, regulations, reports, you name it, all being read and summarized by junior staff. And this all fits into the classic consulting pyramid model, right? At the bottom, you have tons of junior analysts doing all this foundational research. Their hours might be at a lower rate, but there are so many of them that it becomes this massive financial engine. That's what makes the whole thing work. It literally funds the very partners at the top.
At the end of the day, these firms are what you'd call a utilization business. It's a really simple equation. Their revenue equals the number of hours they bill times their billing rate. So that huge block of junior hours, it's not just for training. It's the absolute financial bedrock of the firm.
Okay, so that's the old model. Now here comes AI to just break it. And here's the kicker. AI isn't coming for the partner's judgment at the top of the pyramid. Nope, it's going straight for the foundation. It's turning that essential reading and summarizing work into a cheap commodity. And the scale of this is just staggering, 70%. That's the potential reduction in that whole junior reading layer. Think about that. Work that used to take a whole team of people weeks to get through, it could now be done by one person with the right AI tool in just a fraction of the time. It's insane.
You can see how this triggers a complete economic earthquake. Before AI, you had this huge base of junior hours, a really strong, profitable model. Now, after AI, that base just crumbles. The billable hours evaporate, the leverage model breaks, and suddenly clients are asking, hey, why are we paying so much? The whole thing starts to get really shaky.
And this leads to a really, really uncomfortable question for these firms. If the work suddenly takes 70% less time, what exactly were we, the clients, paying for all along? It puts them in a tough spot. Either they cut their fees, which kills their revenue, or they try to charge the same price for way less work. And you can bet smart clients are already figuring this out.
Okay, but it's important to remember this isn't going to hit everyone the same way. The shockwave from AI will feel very different depending on what kind of advisory work you're talking about. It really all comes down to one thing: how much of your job is just reading stuff?
So let's look at the breakdown. Something like due diligence, that's at super high risk. Why? Because its whole job is reading and summarizing, which is a perfect match for what AI does best. Compliance is kind of in the middle. Yeah, AI can spot the problems, but you still need a human to decide how big of a deal it is. And then you have stuff like strategy and change management. Well, that's low-risk territory, because it's all about human dynamics, relationships, office politics, stuff AI can't even begin to touch.
So for a lot of these firms, the biggest fear isn't being totally replaced. The real risk is something called disaggregation. Basically, clients could start doing the easy part, all the document reading, themselves with their own AI. And then they'd only call in the expensive consultants for that final top-level advice. The engagements get smaller and the fees get way, way smaller.
So is it all doom and gloom? Not necessarily. How do the smart firms get through this? Well, there's a path forward, but it means totally redefining what they do and the value they bring. It's a whole new playbook for a new era. It really comes down to three big moves. First, you've got to embrace radical transparency. Just tell your clients exactly how and where you're using AI. Second, you have to completely change how you price your work. Get away from billing by the hour. Instead, sell the outcome, the powerful mix of super efficient AI and your unique human insight. And third, double down on what a machine can't do.
the relationships, the networks, the real, true human judgment.
This right here is the absolute key mindset shift. Document intelligence is becoming infrastructure. You have to start thinking of AI like your Wi-Fi or your computer. It's a tool you use to do your job better. You don't bill your client for your laptop, right? It's the same thing. You deploy it, you don't bill for it.
And look, they have to move fast on this. The firms that get out ahead of it, the ones who start this conversation with clients before they're forced to, they're going to build massive trust. They'll win. But the ones who wait, who just hope nobody notices, they're going to get backed into a corner, and it's a conversation they absolutely will not win.
So I want to leave you with the one question every single one of these firms should be asking themselves, probably right now. What proportion of our fees are for things that a single senior partner, armed with the right AI, could now just do by themselves? When you really think about that, it forces you to question what you're selling and maybe more importantly, what it's actually worth.